Hey guys, welcome to the countdown to Force Friday. Today is number 5. Yeah, 5. And for this video, I just wanted to go over my rankings for the 7 Star Wars films that are currently out, which is The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, New Hope, Empire, Jedi, and The Force Awakens. And I just wanted to do this because I thought it'd be fun, and plus I've seen other people do videos the exact same, and everyone has different opinions on which Star Wars movie they think is the best, and I just want to share with you guys what I think. And I'm just going to start off with number 7, which is clearly going to be The Phantom Menace. I remember being like 3 or 4 watching The Phantom Menace, and I used to absolutely love it. Like, it was the most amazing thing I ever watched. Like, all the visual effects were just so amazing, and I thought Jar Jar was hilarious. And that pod racing scene and the lightsaber battle between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul, it just had me at awe the entire time whenever I was like 3 or 4. But as I've grown up and matured, I've gone back and watched it, and the visual effects just don't hold up the way that they used to. And because I watch them now, and I'm just like, this is like uh, garbage. Most of them, I mean, everything in it was garbage. All the special effects now, I mean, compared to nowadays, I mean, back then was clearly amazing. But, and plus, I can't, Jar Jar is just not, I don't know, I feel like the reason why I hate Jar Jar so much is because I've heard so much hate on Jar Jar that I've started to believe it. But I remember at a time I used to love Jar Jar, and now I've just grown to where I'm tired of, like, I don't know, I can't stand it. And I'm glad that throughout the rest of the prequel trilogy, they decided to limit his role into the films. The number 6 on my ranking, I have Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which is no surprise. That's how most everyone's list is, and I agree with them. I mean, people usually have Episode 2 as their least favorite, and Episode 1 as the number 6 in the number 6 spot. I mean, I actually liked Attack of the Clones better than I did The Phantom Menace. Reason being, it was honestly my first Star Wars movie. No, I take that back. What was it? No, I can't remember if it was. It was one of the first Star Wars movies I've ever watched. The very first Star Wars movie I actually ever watched was, I think, A New Hope. I honestly can't remember. I remember being like 3 or 4 and watching. It was A New Hope, because I remember it was on, I think, Sci-Fi at the time, and I was sitting in the living room with my parents, and they put it on. I didn't know what it was. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't really care. I was like 4, but I sat down and I watched it anyways, and I just like fell in love with what I saw, and I wanted to watch the other ones. And around that time was whenever I think Attack of the Clones came out, and I watched that one, and that was my second Star Wars movie I ever watched. And of course, I was confused because going from Episode 4 to Episode 2, it confused the hell out of me. But I mean, being 4, I also didn't care. I just loved seeing Mace Windu with his purple lightsaber taking down battle droids and beheading Jango Fett. Like, to me, that was just so amazing as a child. But also, the same problem with Phantom Menace. As I've grown up and matured, I've just the romance in the movie didn't work for me. It was awkward. You know, Anakin seemed more like a stalker than anything else. Like, I didn't get the sense that he was turning to the dark side. As you know, I just didn't see it. The one thing I did like was Christopher Lee, rest in peace, as Count Dooku. I liked Count Dooku, and I liked that the ending fight with Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Dooku at the end. And next up on my list, I'm going to go ahead and move forward because I can go on about Episode 2 all day. But next on my list, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for it. It's actually Episode 4, A New Hope. Don't get me wrong, I love A New Hope. It is a fantastic movie. It's just that there's better movies out there that are Star Wars. I mean, the Empire. I mean, Star Wars, A New Hope started it all. But I mean, it started from something great, and it evolved into something even greater in the sequels and all that. I mean, it's just wow. But I mean, even in this day, like I have not actually got the pleasure of seeing the original 1977 cut of the film. My first viewing of it was the special editions from 1997. That was my very first viewing of A New Hope. So I've never gotten to witness Han shooting first or anything like that. I have not got to see it. But another reason why, I guess, is because I knew they couldn't help it. It was the first movie in the entire franchise, but the lightsaber battle between Ben and Vader was just so lackluster, and I don't know. After, especially, I don't know, like, I loved it, but there's just better Star Wars than Episode 4. And that's going to lead us to number 4 on the list, which I put, number 4, which is Return of the Jedi. Again, I'm going to get a lot of hate because that means Episode 3 is higher up on my list. I'll get to that in a second. But Episode 6 to me was absolutely amazing. Like, these next few movies, like from Episode 4 to the one I have in the very top space at number 1, are all just so great. Like, they're movies that I could switch around anytime. Like, I mean, just, I guess it depends on what mood I'm in, but I could switch Episode 4 from being number 5 on my list to number 2, or vice versa. You know, I mean, they're just all so good, and if I watch them all straight in a row, I could change my mind just like that, because, I mean, they're just so great. But Episode 6, for me right now, is at number 4 on my list, just because it was a great finale, or we thought it was a finale, but it just tied up a lot of loose ends throughout the original trilogy, and kind of in the prequel trilogy too. I really love that final fight scene with Luke and Vader, and while the Emperor is like trying to get Luke to turn to the dark side. I just love it. And the soundtrack John Williams scored during that fight was just so great. And I just loved watching the scene whenever Luke is being electrocuted and Vader just keeps looking back and forth between his son and his master, and he ultimately in the end turns back to Anakin Skywalker and kills the Emperor, like throws the Emperor off a ledge. And I just love it. And there's also a YouTube video out there called Vader Remembers. I don't know if you guys have checked it out. I highly recommend it. It is a very good little, like, 3-minute video. But it shows what Vader's thinking during his decision when he's looking back and forth between the Emperor and Luke. And, like, it goes back to the prequels where he's a Padawan whenever he's fighting Obi-Wan, whenever he's choking Padme. It's just done so well, and I highly recommend watching that video. And, I mean, just pause this video or exit out of the video. I don't care. Go watch that video. That video is good. I highly recommend it. But next up on the list, number 3, in fact, is Episode 3. I love Episode 3, despite what a lot of people think. It's the best prequel film out of the prequel trilogy. And for me, I mean, I was 7, I think, whenever Episode 3 came out, and it was just astounding what I saw. I mean, I just loved it, and I still love it to this day. Every time I watch it, and as soon as Anakin turns on Mace Windu and ends up helping Palpatine kill Mace, from then on is like the movie is just great. It's just so dark, and the soundtrack is just so good. Like, you know, whenever Order 66 is happening, I mean, you just feel so much emotion, because even though you didn't get a lot of screen time with most of the Jedi that you're seeing getting slaughtered, it's just that music is just so impactful, and you end up, I mean, especially me, I get a tear in my eye every time I watch it, because the score is just so powerful. And that's one thing I can say about the prequel trilogy. The score, the soundtracks that John Williams did are flawless. Like, they are amazing. Especially, I think it's Duel of Fates, the ending in the last song, where Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting, that song is just, I don't know. I could work out to that song. That song is just so good. Like I love it. And just that at the whenever um, Obi-Wan cuts off Anakin's limbs, and Anakin is like falling down into the lava. That speech where he's like, "You are my brother, Anakin. I loved you." Like all that stuff was just so great. Ewan McGregor's performance was just so great. And whether you like it or not, I mean, whether you liked Christian Haydenson or not, I liked him. I mean, I thought in episode 3, especially episode 2, I didn't like at all his performance. Episode 3, whenever he became Vader, I I liked. Now, I didn't like the turn. The turn was like, oh man, well, I killed him. I guess I'm on the dark side now. I didn't fall for that. But and another thing that does make me mad about episode 3 is it didn't show him slaughtering the kids. I mean, yeah, that probably would have pushed the rating to a rated R. I'd have been fine with that. I mean, if that, because I feel like that scene could have been so important to Anakin's fall to the dark side. Seeing Anakin, this guy, that especially if you watch the Clone Wars, which at the time the Clone Wars wasn't even out, but if you watch them in chronological order, you watch the Clone Wars and he's just this good guy. And then you watch episode 3 and he's slaughtering, like killing kids. I mean, that would have been an impactful moment in the Star Wars film uh, saga. Like, that would have been so, like, I don't even know. Like, I'm going to shut up about it because this video is already getting too long. Number 2 on my list. I'm having a hard time between number 2 and 1 because I love them so much. Number 2, as of right now, I have The Force Awakens. Yes, The Force Awakens is almost like New Hope. But this movie, I went and saw it opening night in a crowded theater. Like, this theater I went to had like 6 theaters dedicated to only Star Wars. And almost every one of them was packed out. Like, in my theater, I was sitting beside people I didn't even know. I felt uncomfortable, but at the same time I was comfortable because, like, it was a bunch of fans getting to witness this one thing, and it was just such an amazing experience that I probably won't ever experience again because, I mean, we're getting Star Wars movies now until the end of times probably, but just like going into the theater and seeing the very first Star Wars movie in 10 years, like, and everyone, I remember being in the theater, and as soon as the Millennium Falcon came on screen for the first time, everyone was just so freaking excited, and it was just an amazing atmosphere to be in. And I wish I could just relive that, and I hope I can relive that whenever Rogue One comes out. And another thing, whenever Han Solo died, I mean, spoiler alert, sorry, but if you haven't seen the movie, I mean, why are you even watching this video? I'm not that popular on YouTube anyways. Why are you even watching this video if you haven't even seen Star Wars The Force Awakens? Shut this shit off. Go watch Star Wars. But besides that, let me just get a quick drink. I'm getting a little dry throat. Alright. But, oh, excuse me. But, whenever that scene when Han Solo and Chewie are in Starkiller Base putting the bombs in that room, a part of me knew what was going to happen. And I tried so hard to not believe my gut instinct to what was about to happen to one of my favorite characters in the entire saga. But as soon as he went on that bridge with Kylo and he yelled out Ben, like, my heart stopped. Like, I was like, oh no. And another thing is, it's weird. Right before that, I had a feeling that Kylo's real name was Ben. Like, I was thinking that. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if they named their son Ben, like, name him after Obi-Wan? And then he yelled out Ben, and I was just like, hey! But no one else celebrated with me because they couldn't hear me inside of my own head. So, but besides that, whenever he went onto that bridge, like, and I love, like, the art, like, the uh, the visuals of that moment, which is so great, especially on Kylo's face. You see it on Ben's face. Like there's like a blue side, and then there's a red side, and the blue side is slowly fading away as time goes on. He's getting closer to stabbing Han. Like you see, like the red taking over. Like you see, he's conflicted between the light and the dark, and the dark just taking over. And just watching him hold out his lightsaber to his father, and Han grabbing the lightsaber, and then just I don't know. Says, I can't remember exactly what he says. He's like, I will help you or something, and then he gets the lightsaber, goes through him, and I remember for me and everyone in the theater with me was just like breathless, like they didn't know what to think. Like I was about to lose my mind. I was just sitting there. I was like curled up in a ball in my seat with my knees like this, and like rocking back and forth, going, But and especially the guy beside me, the guy was like losing his fucking mind. Like he was like, whoa! But besides that, like I don't know. Like there's just so much good stuff in The Force Awakens. And I just have a hard time placing this one with my number one pick because Episode 7 was just, there was just so much into that movie. Like, I don't know. And that really brings me to my number one pick, which is The Empire Strikes Back. Clearly, that's a lot of people's favorite film. Reason for me is that, I mean, I wish I wasn't born in the 90s. I kind of wish I was born back in the 70s so I could witness the original 3 films and not knowing anything about Star Wars. Just knowing from what I've seen from the films, and if there's any books at the times. Like I don't even think they came out the first novel until after Jedi came out. But seeing like I wish I could have been in the theater, not knowing anything. And being in that moment when Vader just turns to Luke and goes, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. Like, I wish I could have been there to witness that. I don't know if you guys could really hear me doing my Darth Vader impression because like my mouth was was muzzled by this, but if you didn't, you've seen the movie. Just for whenever I put the helmet on, just imagine James Earl Jones' voice coming out through my mouth, whatever. And there you go. There's your scene played out. But I just wish I could have been there to witness that. And another reason why I love Empire so much is because it's so dark. It's just, coming off A New Hope where everything is awesome. Everyone but Chewie Han and Luke get a medal, and Chewie just sitting there going, but he does get the last word, the last line in the entire movie, so I guess joke's on everyone else. Chewie got the last line. But, coming off a happy ending, blowing up the Death Star, and the Rebels winning from, Han Solo getting trapped in carbonite, going with Boba Fett to, at the time, no one knew who Jabba the Hutt was, because from what I understand, Jabba the Hutt wasn't in A New Hope in the original cut, so no one knew who Jabba the Hutt was. So, you're left there wondering, where is this Boba Fett guy taking him? What's going on? This is just so dark. What's happening? Luke just lost a hand, and it's just crazy to think about. Every time I watch Empire, I try to imagine I know nothing about Star Wars, so that way I can try and get the experience that a lot of people got from 1980. I just wish I could have experienced that. I just want to imagine. I just want to know what the audience was thinking whenever, Vader turns out to be Luke's father. I just wish I could have been there to see the reaction. And even George Lucas kept that a secret from everyone. No one knew except for him and James Earl Jones who voiced Vader. He wasn't the actor who played Vader, but he was the one who voiced Vader. But no one knew. Like, it was a well kept secret, and they even reread the scripts for everyone else in the cast, so that way they didn't know what was going on. And just, I don't know. Like, I just feel like Empire was just, there's so much good about Empire, and I love Lando Calrissian. I still don't know where he was at Force Awakens. I mean, I hope he pops up in Episode 8, but I don't know, like, there's just so much good about Empire, and like I said, I have a hard time placing Empire and The Force Awakens, because like The Force Awakens is just so good, and Empire is just so good, and it's just like, anyways, I don't know what that was. Anyways, that's my list. That's my rankings for the Star Wars movies. I know this was a very long video. I'm sorry. Whenever I start talking the Star Wars and what I like about the Star Wars movies, I keep going and going. I could go all day talking Star Wars, talking whether it be Rebels, the Clone Wars, the films, novels, comics, whatever. I could talk all day about that stuff. I'm just passionate about Star Wars. I love Star Wars, and I hope to one day work for Lucasfilm, because right now I'm taking like computer animation classes in college, and my dream is to work at Lucasfilm and to help create some of these creatures that you see digitally or visually, whatever, or even work for Dave Filoni and work on the next animated Star Wars show, work on Rebels, stuff like that. I would love that so much, and I just hope that I can get there. And I just started college, so it's like, it's a pain right now having, but it's all well worth it. I hope I get there. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about my rankings, and let me know in the comments what your guys' rankings are. Let me know what you would rank them, and let me know why your favorite Star Wars movie is your favorite. Like, give me an explanation why you love The Force Awakens, or why you love The Phantom Menace. Give me, I don't know. You don't have to. I'm just saying. I would love to have a conversation with some of you guys in the comments. Just talking Star Wars, like, that'd be awesome. But anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow whenever I do Countdown The Force Awakens, day number 6, and I'll see you guys later.